All right, welcome everybody. It's another installation of some Take It Make It crafts. Today you are going to be customizing your own little organizer box. This is the one that I made, and there's lots of different ways you can finish it. Very useful item. Pens, pencils, paintbrushes, makeup brushes. It stashes a lot of things. We are utilizing a box, which you will have in your kit, and these upcycled tubes that my coworkers have been saving for me for almost a year to have enough of the receipt paper rolls from work. Nice and sturdy. And in your kit, you should also find a sheet of map paper, some gesso, one color of acrylic. If you don't like that color and you have acrylics, feel free to use whatever you like. A couple sparkles, some crayon bits. You will have a sponge brush, some Q-tips, and I think that's it. You will need to provide some scissors, some glue stick, a thumbtack if you're going to etch your crayons, a way to shave your crayons, which is just a sharpener, some water for your paint, an iron for the crayon part, and any other extra bits that you might like to use. So the method that I'm going to show you, which has all kinds of possibilities, is pretty experimental, meaning that you're not going to be able to control that much of the outcome. It's just a fun way to use different materials in a different way. It's used by a lot of multimedia collage artists, and you certainly don't have to, but it's a fun thing to learn. It is a little messy. If you decide that that's not for you, then, bypass and find a different way to decorate your box the way you like. So the first thing is you can take your box apart. Some of them have a sticker on the bottom. Everybody had different shapes. If you want to leave it on, you can, because in the end, the lid is going to go on the bottom. Offers extra protection on the bottom, and it's just a way to reuse the lid. Okay, so to apply the gesso, there's a variety of ways you can apply the gesso. So you have your little sponge brush. Gesso is a priming medium. If you paint canvases, you would stretch raw canvas and then you paint gesso over it. You can even get primed ones, but gesso gives you a nice primed, but you can give yourself a very smooth texture if you want. Or, as I will show you, you can add texture like this. And then when it dries, it's going to give you that raised area. Now, if you are going to cover it with the crayon, you need to cover all the sides of the box. There's another way to apply the gesso, which is just putting it on in a pattern. I'm going to use the brush here. This makes these fun little stripes. Now remember too that since the lid comes up over the bottom, don't put all your fanciest work right there. Okay, so then you could also use, that's what these are, maybe we want to add a couple dots. Your Q-tip can be for. You are welcome to, don't worry about that, use a paintbrush of your own if you like more control. Again, this is just kind of fun and loose. Now this, I'm going to show you, this is dry already. And so we'll use this as now if you don't want to do the crayon, which I will show you eventually, you can make a wash of your acrylic paint. Where did my paintbrush go? There you go. So I'm just going to take some of it out. You can mix this up in the cap if you like. I'm going to mix it right here. And to make a wash, you're just going to dip and make a very watery consistency of your acrylic paint. And then just paint over it. And the cardstock, or the mache of the box, the paper will absorb a lot of the wash, but the gesso will give you a more brilliant little pop of color. And then you can call your box done if that's all you would like to do. However, I said I was going to demonstrate some other things. So in order to do your crayon resist, if you will, not a resist, what you need to do is shave up your crayons. I was feeling kind of wintry, so I gave everyone a wintry mix. I pre-shaved these with my sharpener. If you don't have a sharpener, you can get the side of a scissors. This is just kind of like for us who grew up in the 70s, the wax paper crayon fun, or some kids just did it at their school desks for fun. Or you could use a razor. Be really careful if you do. But you're just going to peel your crayons and scrape the sides. Should be pretty straightforward. Different colors do different things. Crayons are made of wax and pigments and binders, and some colors are going to show up better than other colors. So this is a little bit messy, again, but then you're going to grab some of these and the crayon's going to stick to you. And so if you don't like that sort of thing, by all means, don't feel like you have to do it. There's white mixed in since the background is already gessoed white, and this is dried, which you will do. So you're going to use an iron that's dry, no steam. And the wax paper is going to protect. You don't want to trash your iron. And I have mine set on about a 1 or a 2. So cut your wax paper up into a square. And you take your iron. And then just lay it on top. I'm just using the tip of the iron. And you're going to see the crayon start to melt. Again, you're not going to have a lot of control over this, about where the color goes. So if you're not into anything with a sort of a surprise ending, this might not be for you, but it might be for you if you want to learn how to do something new and different. All right, now I'm going to let it set there for a minute. And then you peel it off. Woo, cool, right? Now the thing about this is you let it cool off a little bit, and you can do a few things. Like you can see on my example, I took my thumbtack. You have to make sure that it takes a little while for it to cool off. And I just did really simple snowflakes. They show up really well on the black. Well, that's sort of a, I don't know if that's black or light blue. Like so. And then that's that. You can also, if you want to burnish the crayon on, if it's too raised in areas, you can just lay it down like so, and it's a giant crayon to smooth it out. And that's that. You can see on mine also that I added a word that I cut out from a magazine, and I glue sticked it on there. You need to do that right after the gesso before you put the crayons on, because the wax will make it not want to stick. Okay, the other fun thing you can do is after this dries is you can actually put gesso over the crayon. And I did that on this other box. So I use different colors. There's a layer of gesso over this, and then on this one, we can try this out right now. I did my crayon, put a few scratches in there, and then I put gesso dots over it, let it dry, and now you can actually put another wash of crayon over it, wash of paint over it, excuse me, and the crayon will resist, but the gesso will pick up the paint. And again, it's just another multi-layered effect, and you can just let that dry on there and the paint will dry on there. Or if you're in a hurry, get another effect. Just put some paper towel on there and just dab off the excess. You will proceed the same way to do your lid in any fashion that you desire. I would recommend gessoing the bottom of your lid because that's going to be on whatever surface your container sits on. If you don't want to do that, you could just glue a piece of paper to it. I mean, it already is paper, so that's really entirely up to you if you even want to fool around with that. The last, well, never the last, really. You can choose to decorate your tubes or not decorate your tubes. These I used a duct tape. Unfortunately, it's cost prohibitive for me to have shared it with everyone. But if you can't find this duct tape, you can find specialty papers. This is origami paper. You could use, you really need to use paper. Cardstock is too thick to wrap around the tubes. Since these tubes stick up and you can see them, I just wanted to add a little bling to it. Another way you could do that is, let me find it. Yes, it's our favorite, nail polish with glitter to add it a little. Or you don't have to do them at all, and you can just leave them white and be done with it. You can see you can cover it with origami paper. You can cut it. You can draw a line first and cut to the size. Like so. Pretty straightforward. Draw your line and cut it, or you can roll it up and cut it afterwards, which is a little sloppier. But it's just like, you just cut it and use your glue stick to glue it on. So you'll apply some glue stick to the paper. You got one straight edge. Now you might also find that some of the receipt printer tape is left on there. There's usually one good side, so you just let that be on the top of your tube. And then I'm going to trim it. I'm not looking for perfection because it's just an organizer, but you can customize it. So here you can see where I would trim the edges. It's not as neat as if you pre-measured, but it gets the job done. Like so. And then you can place them in your container. Now, the other thing is maybe you don't like the container I provided. This one is a slightly different size container, dollar store. And you can see the tubes don't even show in here, but you can actually put things in the tubes. You can put things in the other part. So it becomes kind of a versatile little organizer. Let's see, have I forgotten anything? If you don't like any of these methods, on your sheet there's numerous ways to, you can cover it in, again, the matte paper which was provided. You can use gift wrap. You can use washi tape, you can use duct tape, you can paint it, you can Mod Podge it, you can glitter it. So you customize it any way you like, and we'll see you next time.